this Saturday is El Kukui versus Salt Pappy. And yeah, I think it's an interesting fight to talk about, to be honest. Tony moving over into the influencer boxing scene to fight Salt Pappy. And if I'm being honest here, I don't think that El Kukui striking would be great in boxing at all. I don't think it would work. In general boxing, it wouldn't translate over to it well. MMA is a completely different ball game to what boxing is, but this isn't boxing that we're seeing here. It's influencer boxing, and I feel like El Kukui and his striking could work in influencer boxing. Influencer boxing, as we know, again, it's a completely different ball game to what boxing is. It's different to what MMA is, it's all different, but it is very messy. And Tony's striking in general, it is very messy, as we know. Um, but I think what works is his cardio and the way that he can push a pace. And I feel like that would be able to work against someone like Salt Pappy and influencer boxing. I think the thing is with Tony though is he is 41 now. He is 41 and he hasn't had a boxing fight of any sort of capacity uh, whatsoever. It's all just been pure MMA for him. And the thing which is being taken away from Tony in boxing is elbows, and that is they are strikes that Tony likes to throw a lot of, and he can't do that in boxing. And I feel like the elbow threat of Tony, which is there, it's it helps him be awkward and it helps him get away with that because opponents are wary of it. I think something which could work for Tony, especially in influencer boxing, it doesn't work in boxing for him though at all, just in general. But in influencer boxing, what would work for him is possibly all that style change. It could work to an extent. It would completely fail in actual boxing. But again, that awkwardness going up against someone like Salt Pappy could work, to be honest. And that switching style is something that an actual pro boxer, a low level pro boxer, would easily be able to figure out, someone like Tony doing it. But it's something that I don't think Sol Pappy's going to be able to figure out at all. That could be something that makes it awkward for him. And the way that Tony's going to, keep on pushing forward awkwardly, a bit of, herky jerky movement, I think could be very awkward for someone like Sol Pappy and could work. I think as well, the left hand, Tony's left hand is his strongest hand, and mostly he likes to fight orthodox. But that is why he's got such a strong jab, because his stronger hand is the left hand. I actually think so. I actually think Tony's better off in the southpaw stance. You know, I feel like against Chandler when he was fighting more as a southpaw, he was able to counter him quite well on the feet and was throwing some decent shots overall. Until obviously he got KO'd. But I think that the thing which I think is gonna go against Tony is age. And that that's the thing. That's the thing. Timing, his age. It's difficult to learn new things at the age of 41. It's difficult going over to a new sport at 41. I know it's a combat sport that, he's still doing, and he's done his whole life in combat sports. It's not like he's just going over to, try and be a footballer or something like that. He's still in combat sport. But as I was saying, boxing's a completely different ball game to MMA, and it's difficult to translate over to. And I feel like that's something which a lot of Tony fans are struggling to think, and I think are struggling to accept, with how different boxing is and how the art of boxing is completely different to what MMA is. But again, talking about influencer boxing here, not actual boxing, and the art of actual boxing, there isn't an art of influencer boxing. There's not an art of influencer boxing. They don't have the art of actual boxing in it whatsoever. That's why I feel like Tony has a great chance no matter what. I feel like, as good as people like to say Salt Pappy is in the influencer space, he's massively overrated. Massively overrated. I feel like his counters are good, but I just feel like that makes him pretty one-dimensional. We can't really cut off the ring. He seems to rush forward quite a bit, and I feel like that's something that Tony might actually like. Soul Pappy rushing forward, and then Tony's got the opportunity to make it messy. That's what Tony's going to want. I mean, if we look at what Soul Pappy was like against that Ferrari, that was messy, and Salt Pappy didn't like that whatsoever. The only thing is that Ferrari gassed out. Tony won't. Tony won't. So I feel like Tony's got a great chance here. I mean, again, as I said, if he was fighting if Tony was up against a journeyman boxer, he would lose. He would lose. Um, he would lose to anyone with a heartbeat in boxing. But Salt Pappy, an influencer boxer, Tony can win. Tony can win this fight. You can't say he won't win. Whether I pick him or not, it just all depends on age, really, for Tony. It all depends on age and being able to pick up on new things. And that's something I don't know what to be able to do. Tony's style throughout his whole MMA career has been a lot of the same. He hasn't really he hasn't really fully changed up a lot throughout his MMA career, and it has always worked for him in his prime years. But now the thing is, though, we look at El Kukui and his movements not exactly the same. His head movements completely changed. He's really flat-footed, and I feel like a big thing with Tony striking, though, in MMA is his defense. It's very questionable. He gets, even in his prime years, he was getting hit a lot, but he's so durable. He's so ridiculously tough. He's got, a ridiculous high level chin in his prime years. In smaller gloves as well. I feel like it's very interesting to see him go up against Salt Pappy here because we can't. What we have to remember is people saying Salt Pappy's going to absolutely batter Tony. I think you need to remember Salt Pappy is an influencer boxer. He's an influencer boxer. He's not even a low-level actual professional boxer. He's an influencer boxer, and it's completely different to what pro boxing is. And I feel like that's mistakes that I haven't made in the past. I remember when I was talking about the fight between Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis, I was like, Logan Paul's going to absolutely batter Dylan Dennis. But what I didn't consider is that Logan Paul is an influencer boxer. But look, Tony's got way better striking than what bloody Dylan Dennis has anyway. But the thing is that he's older and just doesn't really have the movement. Salt Pappy is going to be more flexible. He's going to be much more agile than what someone like Tony is. But Tony's awkward. Tony's durable. Tony's got the experience in general of just general combat sport. Boxing wise, again, Salt Pappy has got the experience over Tony. He's got the youth over Tony, but Tony's just got that general durability. He's got the chin, he's got the cardio, and he's just got that general experience overall in combat sports. He's got a good chance. In actual boxing, his MMA striking would not work at all. It would completely backfire. It would completely fail. But in influencer boxing, he can make it work. He can make it work 100%. He can win. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll speak to you all in the next one.